Welcome to this session on Toshiba IPedge ACD Overview. My name is Myra Brady and I will be your presenter today. Every business, large and small, needs to efficiently manage incoming calls to departments and other groups. Toshiba's contact center solutions serve customers quickly, efficiently, and cost-effectively, providing a competitive advantage no matter what the size of their company. Studies report that a greater and greater portion of a company's business is being conducted over the phone. In the retail business, the fastest growing segment is catalog sales, and that business is exploding. Increased data communications and computer-controlled devices have made diagnostics possible over the phone. Teleconnect magazine reports an explosion of call center opportunity, and this explosion is mostly in the small call center application. The ACD is the heart of the call center, but what does it do? It answers the call. The agent does not have to answer. If no agent is available, it tells the caller to wait. The agent doesn't have to give delay announcements. It keeps track of calls that are holding. The agent does not have to know or remember the order of holding calls. And it equally distributes calls. Agents have a very difficult time doing this. ACD helps the agent be more efficient by turning mechanical functions over to a machine. Here are some characteristics of ACD calls. Large volume might mean 8 to 15 calls per hour for multiple agents, but less if there are fewer agents in an ACD group. The purpose of the call is predictable, for example, calling in to order items from a catalog. And any agent, as opposed to one specific person, can complete the transaction. Here is an excellent quote that can get every business owner thinking. How you handle incoming calls from customers or prospects will tell if your company is caring, efficient, cutting edge, or fun. Or it can give your customers a much different feeling. Your call center is the front door to your business. It is that ever tenuous first impression. Companies are beginning to realize that they can achieve competitive edge by treating the call center as the front door of their business and the employees that man those phones as front door employees. Call centers are clusters in a company where calls come in or calls go out. These could be done by one person, but usually multiple people handle those calls. Here is a vital concept. A specific person is the person you always call to do business with, ask questions of, and so on. An example might be your specific travel agent. A generic person is an agent in a call center. You call the group, and the person that answers can handle the transaction. An example is Toshiba's Sales Application Desk. Let's take a look at what are the advantages and disadvantages to calling a specific person as opposed to a generic person or group. Calling a specific person is more personable. You are able to establish a relationship. They are not always available, though. They could be busy, out to lunch, on vacation, or out sick. Specific people means they handle a specific clientele. They are only as busy or idle as they have active clientele. If you want to grow the business and add another specific person, they have nothing to do because they have no clientele. Here is an excellent quote from the Call Center Institute. Mismanaging the incoming call center by not understanding how and when your business arrives and being staffed and equipped to handle it is disastrous. The opportunity becomes lost as prospective customers hang up despite your elegant, expensive marketing and your beautiful new product. Ask your prospect, how much do you spend on advertising, yellow page ads, TV and radio spots, newspaper ads, brochures, mailers, outside salespeople, etc. If they can't handle the call when it comes in, they are wasting a lot of money. Now that we have discussed the concept of ACD, let's get into some particulars on IPedge ACD. This chart shows us the capacities for each of the IPedge servers. Take a moment to pause the presentation to review the capacities, as it will give you a good base knowledge as we continue through this presentation. Now that we have spoken about the theories of ACD and call centers, let's dive into some of the specifics. Let's take a moment to look at the basic flow of an ACD call. Call comes in and rings the pilot DN. If an agent is available, the call goes to the agent and is answered, and the agent is now on an ACD call. If all agents are busy, the call goes into queue and the callers hear music or announcements. As the call progresses from this point, It can be answered by an agent if one becomes available. If the overflow timer times out, the call can be redirected to another destination, or the caller can choose to be transferred to another destination. If the call comes into the ACD when all the agents are logged out, or it is the end of a shift, the call will be rerouted to an alternate destination. Please pause the presentation if you'd like to study the diagram in more detail. Calls get to an ACD group when the pilot number for the group is dialed. These calls can come into the group via direct-in lines, attendant transfers, auto-attendant transfers, DID or DNIS numbers, or transfers from other stations. The amount of time that a call stays in queue before it is routed to the overflow destination is programmable. An overflow action can occur when calls remain in queue beyond an acceptable time period. The action to take is programmable, but typically the call is moved to another location. A reroute action is triggered when the queue is disabled or no agents are logged in to take calls. This action is also programmable, but frequently the caller is sent to a reroute destination. Some examples of destinations are another ACD queue, another pilot DN, an offsite destination, a DN or phantom DN, voicemail, or announcements. With missed call unavailable, options are provided to make an agent automatically unavailable or logged out if they miss an offered ACD call. A call is considered missed if the call is not answered and advanced to the next agent using the No Answer Advance timer. With abandoned calls, callers who hang up without ever being answered by an agent are considered abandoned. Whenever this occurs, appropriate MIS events are generated and an action can be triggered, for example, to log the call. Part of the ACD functionality is the ability to give callers recorded announcements. These announcements can be set up as an initial announcement that the caller hears when answered by the ACD queue. This announcement can be forced, meaning every caller will hear the announcement, or as needed, meaning it will only play if an agent is not available to answer the call when it comes in. Periodic announcements. These are used when a caller is sitting in queue waiting to be answered. The main goal of these announcements is to let the caller know that they are still connected and will be taken care of as quickly as possible. And then intelligent announcements. These are part of the enhanced version of our ACD software. These announcements can tell them how many calls are ahead of them in queue and what their estimated wait time will be to be answered. All the announcements and timers can be set up per the requirements of each ACD group. ACD supports up to 15 different music information on hold sources. Selected music or recorded information can be set up per the requirements of each ACD group. Groups can share the same sources or have ones customized just for that group. The main objective of having music and/or information playing while a caller is on hold is to keep them on the line. You want to be sure that it is pleasant and interesting music as well as informative announcements. When a call comes into an ACD group, there are various algorithms that can be used to distribute the calls among the agents. Linear always starts at the top of the list. In this application, the first agent on the list takes most of the calls, and the agents further down the list will only take calls when the call center is busy. Round robin will send the next call to the next available agent in the list that is waiting to take a call. An example of this application is when the agents are commissioned and require equal opportunity for calls. Continuing with distribution algorithms for incoming calls, longest idle. The agent that is idle the longest will receive the next call. In this application, you can balance the workload in the call center. Balance call count. The agent that has taken the lowest number of calls will receive the next call. In most ACD applications, calls have a predictable length. With this algorithm, you can equalize the workload in the call center by measuring the agent on the number of calls. A special note. Agents logging in at the beginning of a shift start at 0. Agents logging in later start at the call count of the lowest agent logged in. Two more call distribution algorithms are preferred agent. Calls come into the agent assigned to a specific account based on caller input. In this application, you want to give the caller the personalization of a specific agent
but still want the efficiency and service of an ACD. Agent priority. Calls come into the agent that is assigned the highest priority first. In this application, agents are assigned priority levels. Calls go to those with the highest priority first. Lower priority agents only receive calls when the higher priority agents are busy. This application is an automatic expansion of an active agent pool. The final call distribution algorithm we will address is skills-based routing. Calls are routed to the agent with the appropriate skill level to best handle the call. That skill level can be based on the language spoken, technical or product expertise, etc. Agents with multiple skills can log into multiple groups. The routing of these calls into the group can be based on caller input, for example DTMF digits, or an IVR application, ANI, or DNIS. The ACD offering comes in two packages, Basic and Enhanced. The Basic package contains all of the ACD features and functionality, with the exception of the following features that are in the Enhanced package only: multiple group login, priority queuing, agent and call priority escalation handling, queue management and reroute, queue management look-ahead agent routing, callbacks, skills-based routing, preferred agent, balanced call count agent search, intelligent announcements, agent priority, and queue start and stop. As we go through the next group of slides, we will discuss the enhanced features in more detail. Multiple group login. Agents can handle calls for more than one group, and supervisors can supervise more than one group. Priority queuing. High priority calls are placed in queue before low priority calls. Agent and call priority escalation handling. Lower initial priority calls are incrementally priority escalated to ensure that they are answered based on wait time. Queue management and reroute. A reroute action is triggered when the queue is disabled or no agents are logged in to take calls. When conditions are met for current and target queues, calls are rerouted to the target queue. Queue management look-ahead agent routing. While a call is waiting in queue, the system performs a constant look-ahead function to see if an agent in an overflow or target group is available. Callbacks. The caller is offered the choice to be called back when his or her place in queue occurs. The caller is prompted for their callback number and reason for the call. Skills-based routing. Agents can log into the queues that they have the skills to support. ACD can work with IVR for routing purposes. And preferred agent. Based on integration with optional applications, the system can route the call to the agent assigned to a specific account to handle the call. Balanced call count agent search. The agent with the lowest number of calls receives the next call. Here, calls have a predictable length. You can equalize the workload in the call center by measuring an agent on the number of calls. Intelligent announcements can tell callers how many callers are ahead of them in queue and what their estimated wait time is to be answered. Agent priority. The agent with the highest priority receives the next call. In queue start and stop, the supervisor has the capability to manually start and stop the queues to either allow calls to ring in or stop calls from ringing into the queue. Call router provides routing on several types of call information, including caller ID, ANI, DID, DNIS, and account codes. It also has the ability to learn information about calls that do not have a matching record in the routing database. This is useful since many businesses have more than one phone line but only publish the main listed number. Voice Assistant is a CTI-based IVR product. It can be programmed to run different scripts for things such as announcements to callers, overhead paging, or retrieve information from callers. Let's take some time now to review some of the agent telephone features. This chart shows that all these agent features are available in both the basic and enhanced software packages. Log in and log out. After entering a valid agent ID and an optional password and queue number, the telephone becomes available for receiving ACD calls, and the ACD feature codes are activated. The extension that is used to log into an ACD group becomes the telephone's ACD call button. After logging out, the ACD features are deactivated on the telephone and the telephone is logged out of the ACD group. A passcode can be assigned to each agent for login purposes. Agents log in or out using a digital telephone, IP telephone, or IPedge call manager. Unavailable and available. This feature enables temporary unavailability for ACD calls without logging out. Unavailable status can be used for lunch and coffee breaks, or extended times away from the telephone during the shift. While in the unbalanced status, calls are not delivered to that agent. Agents can change their status by pressing the Avail or Unavail button. Wrap-up timer and wrap-up timer. This mode, also known as after-call work mode, is a predefined mode with a time limit that enables an agent to process information related to the last ACD call without interruption. When the wrap-up time limit expires, ACD calls are routed to the agent. The agent can also have an End Wrap-Up telephone button. When the agent presses End Wrap-Up, wrap-up time ends in 1 second. Group Call Pickup. This feature provides an easy method for an agent to quickly pick up a ringing ACD call on another agent's telephone. By pressing the ACD Pickup button, the agent redirects the longest ringing call within the agent's group or groups to his or her telephone. Agent Help or Supervisor Assistance. Agents may have an ACD Help button on their telephone as a hotline to the supervisor for assistance. Pressing this feature button alerts the ACD software to find the supervisor, if logged in, and create a call to that location, placing the current call on hold. Once the call is completed, the user may use PBX features to conference the caller into the call as a three-way call, or hang up and return to the original caller. Work units. This feature enters an account code. The code is sent to the MIS reporting system for inclusion in its reports. A work unit can be associated with a product, for example, so the report can show how many calls were for a particular product. Auto answer with zip tone. This option determines whether ACD auto answers a call and then sends an audible tone to the agent that the call has been answered. This feature is enabled on an agent-by-agent basis. An agent scripting. Attach a scripting reference to the call so that when a call arrives on an agent's telephone, the agent sees the scripting information to lead the agent through specific statements and questions. Let's take some time now to review some of the supervisor telephone features. This chart shows that all these supervisor features are available in both the basic and enhanced software packages. Log in, log out, and option to take calls as an agent. The log-in, log-out procedure for the supervisor is the same as for an agent with one additional input. The supervisor is asked to indicate if he or she wants to receive calls as an agent. If yes, then the supervisor is an agent of last resort for that group. In the basic models, a supervisor may only log into one group. In the enhanced models, a supervisor may log into multiple groups at the same time. Agent assistance or agent requests help. Agents can call the ACD group supervisor for assistance by pressing ACD Help on their telephones. ACD Help rings the supervisor telephone if the supervisor's ACD call button is available. This feature enables the agent to talk to a supervisor with the ACD call on hold, talk to an ACD caller with the supervisor dropping out of the call by hanging up, or participate in a three-way conversation with the supervisor and the ACD caller. Call monitoring, silent and call monitoring, participating. Call monitoring or join call enables the supervisor to monitor conversations between an ACD agent and caller. When the supervisor presses Monitor Call, a one-way listen-only path is established for the supervisor. The monitoring feature does not apply to non-ACD calls. The supervisor may participate in the conversation by pressing Join Call. This provides a three-way conference with the agent and the caller. only one supervisor can monitor an agent at a time, and that agent must be a member of the group the supervisor is logged into. Monitoring continues until it is canceled or the agent logs out. The point of entry may be done with or without a warning tone to the existing parties of the call. And queue alarms. Alarms may be created for indicating conditions within the queue that may need the attention of agents and/or supervisors. These indications can be made through ringing telephones and through the LCD or via pagers or PC displays. LCD telephones provide the clear CLR soft key to turn alarms off. Thank you for joining me today.